Neighbor helping neighbor during the outbreak, how LexCorp is handling COVID-19 and severe storms preparedness. Welcome to Lexington Now. It's the week of March 16th, 2020. I'm your host, Neil Noah. COVID-19 has changed our daily lives in too many ways to count, but what hasn't changed is Lexington's generous spirit. Charitable organizations have come together to assist those in need, and here is how you can help.
Neighbor helping neighbor is Lexington's prescription for COVID-19. Our citizens are reaching out and helping their neighbors as we all adjust to the many changes this virus is bringing into our lives. We can't do anything about the loss of the Sweet 16 tournaments, not to mention March Madness, but we can help our citizens cope with other concerns. First, we're working with the United Way and Bluegrass Community Foundation to establish a coronavirus response fund. The virus has economic consequences for many people in our community. This is a way for everyone to help their neighbors. Philanthropic agencies, government, and business leaders have gotten together to create a fund. This fund will provide one-time grants to established social service organizations in Central Kentucky that can provide residents with access to food, prescriptions, and health care, child care, and other basic needs.
United Way of the Bluegrass, we are extremely proud to partner with the Bluegrass Community Foundation and the City of Lexington around this critical effort, launching this critical effort. We know that in the days, the weeks, the months to come, many of our Central Kentuckian neighbors are going to be disproportionately impacted by this coronavirus situation. We want to make sure that those who are most vulnerable, both from an economic and a health perspective, receive the services and support that we can bring as philanthropic partners and citizens across this region. United, we can leverage our resources, leverage our strengths to really have a deeper impact for the community in the areas that you mentioned, Madam Mayor, around healthcare, food, access to transportation, prescriptions, and child care.
I echo everything that Timothy said. Fantastic partnership, and I think that in a time of crisis like this, very often the response from our residents is how can I help? How can I get involved? And I think that having this partnership between Bluegrass Community Foundation and United Way of the Bluegrass allows for that one place that financial resources can come together and can be activated to impact our region, our community during this particular time. So the role for Bluegrass Community Foundation, the funds will be coming to a fund, a charitable fund held at Bluegrass Community Foundation, the Coronavirus Response Fund, and donations may be made to this fund with checks payable to Bluegrass Community Foundation referencing Coronavirus Response Fund. We have text to give. We have an online hub to receive credit card donations as well. And we can work with any individual out there if there are other sorts of charitable assets that they would like to contribute toward this fund. For example, gifts of appreciated stock, et cetera, we can help accommodate that as well. So I think it's just important to know for the people out there listening, if you're looking for a way to support, this is a great concerted partnership between the Community Foundation and the United Way to help address this need.
In another step to help people whose budget may be tight because of the coronavirus and our sort of new normal way of living, the city is joining Kentucky American Water Company in suspending water shutoffs to homes. And finally, our parks, golf courses, and playgrounds will remain open. Parks are a place to take children outside that's free and fun. And our citizens are welcome to take sanitizing wipes if they want them to wipe down playground equipment. However, today I am closing all of our community centers. Our most important way of stopping this virus is social distancing and avoiding crowds and congregating people. This is impossible to maintain if we have groups continuing to use our community centers. Parks facilities will not be available for rental. For example, the neighborhood buildings that are used in the parks. All events hosted or permitted by the city or held in a city facility will be postponed or canceled. For example, baseball leagues will not be able to practice on city fields. All of these closures apply through April 5th, when we will reevaluate the situation.
The urban county government has set up a website with the most up-to-date information on the city's and other organizations' responses. The website is updated frequently, and Lex TV will be bringing you any breaking news as it happens through the city's official live press updates. Kendra Carter of LexCorp, the city's call center, has an update on their handling of the continually evolving COVID-19 situation.
LexCorp is the centralized call center for your local city government services. So if you need to report a pothole, missed garbage collection, or a signal malfunction, you would give us a call. At this time, it really has not impacted our call volume. We attribute that to an excellent job that the governor and the mayor is currently doing with their communicating. And when we do get a call, it's basic general questions asking for the COVID hotline number or reiterating something that they have said. We're following the guidelines of the CDC, and that we would refer them to the Kentucky COVID hotline, which is 800-722-5725. I would say just follow the guidelines that's been provided to you in the recommendation, practice social distancing, wash your hands, and be safe.
After the break, severe weather preparedness. Welcome back to Lexington Now. March is Severe Storms Preparedness Month, and John Bobel of Emergency Management tells us how to prepare for severe weather.
There are some things we want people to remember about being prepared for severe weather. The first thing is we want people to be aware. It's very easy these days when you have a smartphone or a cell phone and you get text messages from just about anyone. But severe weather preparedness means you need to have at least 3 places where you're going to get severe weather information. Make sure you keep that phone of yours charged at all times. And it's a good idea to also buy an auxiliary battery pack. So if you're in a place where the power goes out and you need to rely on your cell phone, you can at least keep it charged a couple of times with that auxiliary battery pack. The most important thing, though, is to have a NOAA weather radio. It's very easy these days to forget that the NOAA weather radio is the most important appliance in your house next to a smoke or fire alarm. The NOAA weather radios, they're about $30, and they can be programmed so that they only set off alarms and alerts if there's severe weather here in Fayette County. Severe weather just doesn't happen during the day. A lot of people are seriously injured or even killed from severe weather and tornadoes that happen overnight. Your cell phone may not be loud enough. You may not even keep your cell phone in the bedroom with you. It may be in a charging stand somewhere else. But a no-weather radio in your bedroom or someplace where everybody can hear it when it goes off, it can make the difference between life and death for severe storms. Also, we encourage people to sign up for our new LexAlert system. You can go to BeReadyLexington.com. That's the emergency management website for Fayette County. Check out the sign-up information form on the BeReadyLexington.com website for LexAlerts, and you'll be able to sign up for the extreme severe weather alerts and warnings. The next thing we want people to remember is it's important to make a family emergency plan. And that can be an individual plan. If you're single or live in a group environment with a couple of roommates, doesn't really matter. You really need to have a plan so that people can stay safe during emergencies. Everybody should have an out-of-town emergency contact. That's somebody you know. It could be a friend, a relative, someone who has a good telephone or mobile phone connection. First of all, you need to let them know that they're your emergency contact. So in case of an emergency, you contact them out of town with a text message or a phone call to let other people know that you're okay. Family members, friends can call your out-of-town emergency contact and they know that everything's okay. The next thing to do in your emergency plan is to make copies of important documents. They may be your driver's license, your birth certificate, other important documents, court documents, insurance papers. Make copies of those and save them ideally to the cloud or some other sort of storage drive. If you have to leave home or where those documents are originally stored, you can get copies of them. So if you come back and need those documents, you can easily get hold of them. Worst case scenario, you could be digging through rubble. If it's a fire, they could be destroyed. But if you have copies of those in a safe place, you'll always have access to them. The next thing we want people to do is to build an emergency kit. Ideally, you should have an emergency kit for where you live, where you work, and whatever type of transportation you have, a car, a truck, a van. Each one of those areas should have its own emergency kit. For home, make sure your emergency kit has a first aid kit in it. That's very important. A battery-operated AM/FM radio, also a good thing to have. Flashlights with extra batteries so that if the power goes out, you have a way to see in the dark. At least 3 days worth of food and water, so that if for some reason you can't get out of your home, if it's a blizzard or some other type of storm that prevents you from getting out, that you can be self-sufficient for at least 72 hours, at least 3 days. Finally, we want people to get involved with being prepared for emergencies. Take a class in first aid or CPR. Here at Emergency Management, we have our Community Emergency Response Team. They take 9 weeks worth of classes where they learn some advanced first aid, some fire and rescue. They learn about firefighting. They learn how to organize in a neighborhood in case of an emergency, because it's important to know that if we were to have a tornado or other violent storm here in Lexington, firefighters would not necessarily be able to reach all the neighborhoods at the same time. It could take several hours. It could take a day or two. It's important that people have the supplies and the know-how to take care of each other. It's also important that you know your neighbors, know your friends, know people who may need a little extra help during an emergency or a power outage, so that if you know them now, you can reach out, because that's important. Lexington's a very caring community. We've seen that time and time again during the ice storms and other accidents. So it's important that you remember to be aware, make a plan, build a kit, stay informed, and learn a little bit about emergency preparedness.
You can learn more at BeReadyLexington.com. City business continues this week in a modified schedule due to COVID-19. Stay tuned to Lex TV and check lexingtonky.gov for the latest on city business scheduling and coverage. That's all for this week, but as always, you can keep up with us on social media, check out the latest traffic updates on Twitter @LexRex, or catch our live traffic cams on lexingtonky.gov. For all of us at Lex TV, I'm Neil Noah, and that's it for now.